Yardbirds drummer Jim McCarty says he saw a vision of Jeff Beck shortly after he died. Jeff died in January 2023. It's an interesting story. Jim McCarty, who's been with the Yardbirds since the beginning, 1963.
Knowing what you know now and how your spiritual belief, like for instance, when Jeff passed away, what's your reaction? What was your reaction to it? Because you don't look at death as it's over. Obviously, I don't either.
Yes, but it was at the same time it was a big shock, and I couldn't, I had to take it on board for a few days. It was quite a shock, but I I was sitting here in my living room, and I was looking out the window, and it was like a cloud, a beautiful evening, but there was a few clouds around, and the clouds were sort of moving, and all of a sudden, for about 5 or 6 seconds, this cloud took a form, and it became his face, and he was smiling at me. And I thought, oh, it's Jeff. It's Jeff. He's smiling at me, and then it just went.
Wow.
So it said, as far as I was concerned, he was saying, oh, hello. I'm fine. Everything's fine, and it's a bit of a laugh sort of thing, like we used to do.
So Jeff Beck. Like, I remember the day where I first heard Jeff in the band. I remember the day that I first heard Blow by Blow by Jeff. And I remember going, no matter how popular this guy gets, he'll always be underrated to me. There was this, like, I'm a drummer like you, and I've been a drummer since 78, and you influenced me. You're one of those guys. But when as a non-guitarist, I listen to Jeff and I'm going, that's just on another planet for me. How do you think Jeff changed the band after Jimmy? They asked Jimmy first, and then Jimmy wasn't available.
Yes, that's right. Yeah,
Okay.
he wasn't available, and so he suggested Jeff. So Jeff really he made that he gave the band that huge leap, really, just from being a sort of psychedelic bluesy band to be full on. I don't know what you call us, really.
How did it affect you as a drummer? How did it affect playing with Jeff as opposed to playing with Eric?
Well, it was sort of very exciting, but Jeff is very up and down to work with. It can be quite difficult. I mean, playing live, you can have a great show with him, but you maybe have one great show and then 2 terrible shows, because he wouldn't like his sound, and it was a lot of aggravation going on.
Is that a perfectionist thing, or is that something you don't understand?
Well, I guess it is a bit of a perfectionist, but this is really why he wound up on his own, because he could call all the shots himself, and everyone had to do what he said. But if he's one of a band and he's not happy, and then you get this terrible atmosphere going on, and this terrible sound, and he'd actually lose his temper a lot, and kick his amps over and kick them out windows and things.
That.
You never knew what was going to happen.
When I do interviews, you always know, and you know how it is when you're talking to someone, you get a feeling after a while, say, oh, I can go down this spiritual road with them. I'm sure heavily religious people do. I'm not religious at all. But what's been the strangest reaction you've received? I've received many going, oh, that's phooey, you're crazy. What's been some of the reactions on the negative side? Do you even pay attention to that?
Very few, actually. I guess people don't want to, they don't want to go the other, they don't want to oppose me. They want to be. Most of the people I know are sort of friendly and nice. And I think I put something on Facebook one time, and somebody said, "Oh, you don't want to be wasting your time with all that," or something like that.
Mhm.
Oh,
So-
you're going down the wrong alleyway,
Yeah, you'll always get that, right? To you, and I asked Richie Furay where Rusty Young was, because I've talked to Richie enough times that I felt comfortable with him. And Rusty had just died maybe a week before, and he still wanted to do the interview. And I was, well, that's great. And I said, where's Rusty? And he gave me, he's a religious guy, he's a minister, and he gave me the exact answer I expected. No disrespect. That was his answer. Where's your wife? Where do you think she is?
Where is she? Well, that's where we get to the difficult bit, really, because that's very difficult to explain. But it has to be a world that's sort of merging in with us. It has to be something we can't see, but it's impenetrating with our world. It's not up there somewhere or down there. It's like I can't explain it, but it has to be, joining up with us in some way or other.
When you were a kid after the baptism, obviously were things watching that must have been signs for you throughout your life that you were plugged into something. Were there other signs?
Well, yeah, they were normally difficulties. Oh, I'm having problems here, and I don't know why. I'm getting I'm getting this feeling. Of course, it was my solar plexus. Yeah. My emotional center down there. It was like chugging away, and it wasn't liking what was going on for some reason. But of course, I didn't know. And the other things in my life where I've been in places I didn't quite like, I just felt very uncomfortable, and I didn't quite know. But I'm learning more as I grow older.
We'll have another part of our second interview with original Yardbirds drummer. He's still with the Yardbirds. Jim McCarty, of course. There was Eric Clapton that went through that band. Jeff Beck, Jimmy Page. What the? There'll also be links to everything that is Jim McCarty, how you can listen to his brand new single, the book She Walks in Beauty, which is about his dearly departed wife, Lizzie, and a lot more. If you want to make a donation to the channel, there are links at the very top for PayPal. You can join our Patreon, get early access. There are exclusive content from this interview, which only Patreon members can see. It will never see the light of day on YouTube, only on Patreon. Or you can join our regular Patreon, get early access to all our videos. Subscribe to our channel. It's important. Like our videos, share them, and comment on them as well. I'm John Beaudin. This is Rock History Music. Take care.